This is our time for public comments, and I just want to say that we want this done in an orderly fashion, and we do not want any name-calling or any derogatory remarks. That does not add points to anybody's message. And you'd be limited to 5 minutes, and less if you'd like. And if there are other people who want to speak, please fill out a card. And I mean, even while they're going on speaking, if you want to fill out a card, bring it up here. But we'll limit the speakers to the ones who fill out cards. Okay, so first on the list is Carolyn Lewis. Is that how you say? I'm not sure how you say that. Lewis, all right. You want to go over there? And if you want to just pull that microphone out, you can. Straight. No, I think you're going to need it. Well, they want it taped. That's one thing. Oh, okay. So the rest of the board can hear this.
Okay, I just decided that Moffett Creek probably should be spoken for, so that's where I live in fourth generation. My children are fifth on our family's ranch. And we have been a standout on fencing the creek because we manage our livestock on Moffett Creek, and I believe we have a quality riparian area. You can look at it every day as you go to Wairika or on your way home as you cross Moffett Creek Bridge. The quality riparian area ends where the creek stops running in the end of June or July, depending on the year. And Moffett Creek has been considered as a tributary to the Scott River, which on some years it is. Others it is not, because it does not run or maintain flow all the way to the Scott River. Very seldom, I would say probably once every 5 years, it probably makes it down to the Scott River, but most of the time it does not. And historically, I can't tell you that information on how many years it's made its flow down there. And there are many use areas that can be considered as to why or why not it does not make it. But most of the time, I would say it would be because of Mother Nature and how much rain she provides for us, or snow. And the other thing that we have tried to do to help make our ranch, I wouldn't say profitable, because we hold outside jobs to keep the ranch going, because we would like our children to have the same chance that we've had to live on a ranch in this valley. So we have tried to work with RCD, and we've put in fish screens. And we also, after the last flood, worked with Fish and Game to put in riprap on the creek. And they wanted us to continue the riparian area to the end of our property, and we planted some willows, but they did not survive because we didn't have the water or the resources to irrigate them, because the creek quits running, and that's where the riparian area ends. So thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, for adding to our repository of information. Okay, let's have Rick Costales. And Rick, you have to keep to 5 minutes like everybody else. Okay. I'll ring the bell.
Okay. My name is Rick Costales. I'm the Natural Resource Policy Specialist for Siskiyou County. We're talking about, the point of this meeting here is the consideration by the Water Board for the renewal of the waiver for the Scott River. As it stands, the Water Board has gone along with a voluntary program where everybody's automatically in the waiver, and they want to see what happens and what sort of progress needs to be done to decide whether to continue with the sort of free-flowing voluntary relationship they have with the community justifies continuing on the way it has, or whether this community needs something stronger in terms of a regulatory approach. I think it's clear that, and I have every confidence that Water Board staff feel that they're acting according to law. I think it's also very clear that a significant number of the community feels that this is not the case, and that they're acting under color of law or in violation of the law. And I think that when you have that sort of diversion of opinion, and push comes to shove, the only way you're going to resolve that is in the courts. And when it comes to the courts, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and everybody has to ask, is it beneficial to fish? Is it beneficial to water quality? Is it beneficial to the cohesiveness of the community? And so either side in this debate on whether it's the right thing to do or not, their actions can force one or the other to take an action. Somebody can paint the other side into the corner, or the other side can paint the one, and we're just stuck on this inevitable path. And so in consideration of this waiver, I think there's been considerable presentation here today of the progress that's been made in Scott River on a voluntary basis under the current waiver program, the flexibility of it, the dedication of the community. There are some people that feel that it's well within something they're willing to do to participate in these voluntary programs. There's also other people that rightly feel it's, that, you know, this is America, that they don't want to participate. I think there's enough people in this community, and I don't think the conditions are that bad, that we need to be forcing people into corners and forcing the sort of confrontation that would result from you know, a mandatory type of program. I think that the Water Board and staff should really consider what has been done here and the voluntary nature of it. After all, I believe the TMDL was thought to be a 50-year program to achieve what it was that they thought needed to be achieved. I'm not really quite sure what that is yet, other than more fish and more water and you know, everything better. But the point is that the short period of time that we've been at this, and that relatively speaking on a scale, we've done 20 years, and the TMDL came in a little bit before 2007? 6? Okay. Since 2006 and now, the progress being made, you look 40 years down the road, I think quite a bit has been made, and on that scale of time frame, I think the voluntary and the nature of the waiver without the formal requirements of you know, people filing papers, people getting permits, people doing things, you know, I don't think we need to go there. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Good job. Okay, Walt Pryor. Now you get your chance. Just don't be using people's names and miscalling them and this kind of thing. Thank you.
I've never done this before, so please bear with me. But my name is Walt Pryor. I do not own a ranch. You know, all I have is a garden. But I do own a well. And I hear that my well is not my well. It belongs to the state now. Anyway, things like that bother me, you know, because I'm one of these old-fashioned people who believe in individual rights. And I'm strongly anti-bureaucracy. Because as these people have spoken this morning so eloquently to, it's the individual who makes the best decisions about their own property, not some bureaucrat in Sacramento. But that's where we're going, folks. So I'm just coming up here to say that don't be misled and don't be deceived, because you're focusing on your property, as rightly so. But all the decisions are made in Sacramento, and even higher than that. This is a worldwide movement. This is worldwide. It's not just about fish and cleaning up the streams. It's about elevating nature above individuals. It's about taking away your rights, slowly but surely. Through regulation, more and more money, costs you more and more to do just to live. So what is the end result of that? Somebody told me 20 or 30 years ago, if you want to know if something is good or bad, just go down that road and exaggerate it. Exaggerate what's been happening and go further and further and further, and you'll find the end result. So what I see The end result of this is all humans will be moved into the cities, and nature will just be free to do whatever nature does. Because every time I turn around, I hear about a new bureaucracy, new regulations. And you know the chief purpose of a bureaucracy, right? That's to maintain itself, to gain more power, to gain more money. And so knowing humans, knowing mankind, that goes to their head. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's what happens when you take decision-making from the individual who's responsible for the property and put it into the hands of some bureaucrat who has no connection to the land. He doesn't care, but he has the power. He says, I think it's going to be this way. Oh, but that's wrong. Well, I still think it's going to be this way. That's my job, to make decisions. So if you want to change things, then change them at the state level. Change them at the federal level. And it's going to take this to do it, I'm afraid. But if you want to maintain your individual liberty, that's what you're going to have to do. And let me say something in closing. We're not going to win this war. We're going to lose it. Because this is about, well, I don't want to sound weird and way out, but this is about the coming of the Antichrist. This is about getting the whole world set up so he can just step right in, and it'll already be under somebody else's control, some bureaucrat, and he'll take over everything. But you can slow it down, and you can protect it for your children or maybe your grandchildren. But I don't think we're going to stop it. But it's a noble fight we fight.
Okay. Next is Michael Stapleton. Now Michael's going to take the floor. See, he got his wife up here first, but now he's going to talk.
Just very, very quick. Michael Stapleton, Betsy Stapleton's other half, and I am not the executive director. Guarantee you. But anyway, I don't know, about a month ago I heard something really disturbing. That really disturbed me. I went to the Scott Valley Information Forum. That's what it's called. I was in this room, and they have a lot of presenters, and there was a biologist from the Yurok tribe that gave a presentation, and they're really trying to manage the fish, but also he said that they kill at least 4%, and they're the ones counting their kill. 4% of the adult coho every year. They're trying to make it up here. And it just seems wrong that this valley is trying everything they can to improve the habitat and the water quality, where all these fish are being killed down there. And so I asked the gentleman, I said, why can't you time it where you don't have the gill nets out when the coho, get the Chinook, and also use different size nets? And he said, because we don't have to. And that was disturbing. And I think that they were given the right to this commercial harvest back in the 80s before the coho salmon was determined to be threatened. So maybe the state needs to negotiate with the federal government over these rights and try to protect the coho salmon trying to make it up the river, because it seems fruitless if we're trying to improve the habitat here, but they're being killed on the way up here. So it just doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Other way around. And you can just pop it in. There you go.
Thank you. Okay, Mark Baird.